Hey y'all, welcome back to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, fringe candidates, and generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And Una, oh my god, I am so happy because this had to happen sometime, and I'm calling it. The 2024 presidential race is officially on.
But it's 2023. Again, I long for a world in which it is regulated. You get 6 weeks,
Yeah.
and that is it.
Look, Britain's allowed to do one thing right, and I don't know if it's up to us to steal that from them.
Oh, they have like campaigning restrictions?
Oh yeah, it's I want to say it's 6 weeks, something like that.
Oh man, yeah, we need that.
Yeah, they just get the bonus of a vote of no confidence, so at any point in time you could do that. But then they have the thing where it's more of your vote for the party and not the person, so the party gets to decide who's president or prime minister or whatever.
Right.
Jolly old governor, whatever runs their
place.
And
then you have a king coronation during austerity measures. So you take the bad with the good.
Yeah, I mean, I did have a lot of fun looking at Prince Charles's accoutrement that he's supposed to have during the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at it, all I could think was if I was carrying all of that around playing Diablo 2, my character would have been crawling on the ground. It's just there are skin swaps for most of the swords he has. It's
Lord.
Like, you're a fucking king, man. Goddamn, just...
I know, terrible posture, both of them. I mean, that is an ad for yoga if I've ever seen.
100%, yes. But yeah, the 2024 presidential race is officially begun. And look, I know a lot of people are going to be saying Donald Trump announced that he was running back in 2022, but didn't it start then? And I say no, because I don't count anything that's not an official set of elections and votes. Once parties start actually doing primaries, start doing conventions, that's when it's begun. That's when it's really, really starting. And we have our first third party holding their convention, holding it right now as we speak.
Ooh.
It is America's oldest continuous third party, the Prohibition Party. So, Una, I'm going to ask you, how much do you know about the Prohibition Party?
I will say I watched, I think, most of Ken Burns's PBS documentary, but that was back in like 2012 or whatever.
And that's a lot of information to hold on to. Ken Burns.
Absolutely. I know it originated in Dear Evanston, just up the road from us.
Yeah, a lot of cities really like to claim prohibition. But yes, Evanston is definitely one of the starting points. But yeah, the Prohibition Party itself is, if we were to do a proper episode on it, it would probably take 3 months, just because, I mean, they've been around since 1869, and there's just so much history in that. So what I'm going to do is kind of more a Cliff's Notes sort of thing to run through to give us a general idea of who they are, because we've never done an episode on them. We will in the future. We just don't have time to do that just now.
The Bud Light version.
They will hunt us down. So the Prohibition Party was started on May 25th in 1869 in Oswego, New York, by the International Organization of Good Templars. And they were essentially an abstinence, non-drinking social organization and private sort of Freemasons group, I guess, because they weren't Freemasons, but they had their secret society. That's what I'm looking for. They were a secret society of non-drinkers.
Okay. I always look at this with suspicion because I assume in that day and age, there must have been an association with drinking with like the dirty German immigrants and Irish that kept pouring into the States. But then again, like WASP society, half of their caloric intake is from Bloody Marys. So it's like, what's going on?
I mean, you're both right. Both of those are correct. We will be bringing up a bit of the anti-German sentiment a bit further down the road here, but it is important to kind of bring up the fact that the reason Prohibition got so big is that for a while in Europe and America, and I'm sure mostly around the world, water would kill you. Water was full of dysentery and disease, and it would just spread like crazy. And so it was actually safer to drink beer as a regular substitute for water during your meals while you were working. It's how we now have session ales, which are beers that are so low in alcohol that you could drink them in a session or your lunch break.
Got it.
And not, be so drunk that you lose your arm at the thresher. It had gotten to the point that people had gotten very used and very accustomed to having wine and beer and whiskey as part of just a daily thing. It just happened. But we were starting to get to the point that it might not have been that important to do that. Water was still kind of dangerous, but there are ways to make it healthier. You could boil it. You could not drink from where you saw a dog corpse. There are things that people learn to do that would make water more palatable and safer. And so it was in this vein that a lot of people within the temperance movement started to try to get people away from it. Also, because I don't know if you know this, when people drink, some get very fighty, some get very life ruining.
And what I remember vaguely from the Ken Burns documentary was like people started getting better at distillation. So like the drinking got a lot stronger.
Yep. 100% yeah.
100% proof.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, so there were a lot of decent reasons why people were just like, look, we have to stop this. People are dying. People are getting beat up. There was definitely, domestic violence was very big, and there wasn't a thing like no-fault divorce where people could get out of it. With temperance, there was a lot of very good feeling and emotion behind it, and a lot of good reasoning behind maybe trying to make this particular thing illegal now that we don't have to have it as a substitute for water that will kill you. And yeah, so the International Organization of Good Templars decide that they're going to make a political party with the sole goal of making alcohol illegal in America. A few months later, in September, the newly minted party would meet at Farwell Hall in Chicago, which was the very first ever YMCA building in Chicago. It's downtown. It's on Clark and Madison. I believe a loan office is there right now, so
Ooh.
I know, very, very fancy. So they would pick two different names for the party. No one could really decide specifically what they wanted, but they went by both the National Prohibition Party and the Prohibition Reform Party. And mostly this new party was noted historically for being the very first to allow women as members and also give women full voting rights during the conventions.
Ooh, well, they're good. Like that's a way to up your numbers real quick.
Very much so. And like you said, in Evanston, the Women's Temperance Union was very strong in Evanston, Illinois, just north of the Chicago border. So you had a very strong female involvement early on with the Prohibition Party that was just naturally embedded. And so it just kind of made sense to do it. So 2 years after that Chicago meeting, they would meet at Comstock's Opera House in Columbus, Ohio, and put forth their very first presidential ticket of attorney James Black of Pennsylvania and Methodist preacher John Russell of Michigan. This convention would set the precedent for the party that they would set their presidential nominees on the odd year before an election, which often made them the very first party every election cycle to name their nominees.
One way to get the jump.
It's, I can appreciate it. That's at least a tradition that I don't think is very harmful. It's cute. It's unique. The party itself I would say they probably had two high points during their entire run. The first would be between 1888 and 1892, when they consecutively got over 2% of the presidential vote, and in 1892 got 270,000 votes. In 1888, they finished third, and in 92, they finished fourth. Following 1892, the party would split. So up until this point, they were still a single-issue party, and a lot of the people who called themselves narrow gaugers, which is, if I had to make a guess, is named after train tracks, because train gauges were very important for deciding width. So narrow gaugers believed that the only purpose of the Prohibition Party was to get alcohol banned. Well, there was a new group that was starting to gain prevalence in the party called the broad gaugers, and they just wanted to add two more things to it. They wanted
you can drink so long as it's under our roof.
You got to drink through a hole in the sheet. Yeah, they wanted to adopt the silver standard so that all American currency would be backed by silver.
Here we go.
And they wanted to give women the right to vote.
Oh, okay. I'm listening now.
Yeah. Who's the asshole now?
Yeah, okay. All right, fine. Okay.
Yeah.
They might be onto something.
Yeah. And so the narrow gaugers would end up winning, which caused the broad gaugers to leave the party and start their own group called the National Party. This party would also split the next year and led to people either rejoining the Prohibition Party or forming a brand new party called the Union Reform Party, which, believe it or not, did not do well.
There's always something delightful and dependable about the mitosis that is third parties.
It's really frustrating. We see this split with major parties also, but they have enough clout to be able to hold everyone together despite the splits. Like even today, we have Blue Dog Democrats and progressives and various boxes. But yeah, third parties don't really have the people power to really force everyone to stay together instead of going off and starting their own club. So the party would see a decline in national votes, but by 1919, they would ultimately get what they wanted. The 18th Amendment would outright ban booze, which now meant the single-issue party didn't really have a reason to exist anymore. And suddenly they had to pivot to something else.
Don't you love to watch a dog that catches the car?
Yeah. And so now we get back to what you were saying with the anti-German sentiment. They have now become a party of xenophobic nationalism. Because now that booze is illegal, they state that they would like to see every immigrant who is arrested for violating the 18th Amendment immediately deported.
Shades of what's happened with cannabis and peyote and ayahuasca culture.
And it fit hand in hand really well in the 1920s, because if you're going to have anti-German sentiment, it's not that far off of being anti-communist and all the Socialist Party members, or at least all the people who are high up in it, being German.
Right.
So you kind of get to do two things at once there. They also decided to expand the party's platform into two planks, which were supporting religion in public school and the assimilation of immigrants.
Eh.
Big surprise, neither of these was enough to get people to keep supporting the Prohibition Party, and they pretty much died out shortly after alcohol became illegal for that short decade. By 1933, FDR would repeal the 18th Amendment, and with the 21st Amendment, and the Prohibition Party would refocus back to banning alcohol again. By the 50s, the party was completely in debt. By the 70s, they tried to do a fancy rebrand, calling themselves the National Statesman Party, but they gave up on that after 3 years, and in 1980 went back to being the Prohibition Party. In the 2000s, the party fell into a new schism over payments from a trust fund that was granted to them in 1930. That story in and of itself is definitely an episode we're going to do, because that would be the year that they had two presidential conventions, one held by the people who started the schism and one held by Earl Dodge, who was pretty much the de facto leader of the party for a number of years. He held the presidential convention in his house, and the people who elected him were his family.
Oh no. I also just this was in the 80s, right?
Oh, this was in the year 2000.
Oh my God. I was picturing the 80s when it's like everyone was just either on cocaine or like starting up in the fascio Christian Republican scene.
No, specifically, this was in 2004, which I predominantly remember because Gina Munson, who was a pastor from Alaska, if I remember correctly, ended up on The Daily Show as a guest to talk about the Prohibition Party, while Earl Dodge got to just be a grumbly old asshole in his home.
I'm going to hunt that clip down like you wouldn't believe.
It was a very good interview. It was just a very kind of laid back, chill interview. One day we will discuss that whole schism, because it should have been the thing that killed the party. So in 2012, the party had lost ballot access in nearly every state, and the presidential nominee brought in a party low of 518 votes nationwide. When the dust settled in 2014, the party would acknowledge that in total there were, quote, 36 fee-paying members. That being said, the party has been in, I guess you could call, a rebound since 2016. They'd get on the ballot in 3 states and get 10 times the votes they had in 2012, marking their best presidential performance in decades. And while they got fewer votes in 2020, they upped their ballot access to 4 states and even nominated a guy who had been a city councilor of sorts in Las Vegas to be their presidential nominee. His name is Phil Collins.
No less.
Yeah.
Phil Collins.
Yep. Phil Collins, who is currently the chairman of the party.
All right. No relation, I assume.
Nope, not at all. Going into 2024, the party does not have much of a chance to win at all, but their organization has clearly been improving. On their more historical site, prohibitionist.org, there has been a huge cataloging of their history and current leadership. They are yet to have a chairman for every state, but committees have been established to improve communication and social media. In particular, whoever is running their Twitter is doing such a good job. I think I've told you about this before, but sometime this past year, it was during Dry January, where they essentially, people were writing on Twitter talking about how well they're doing for Dry January, and the Prohibition Party would congratulate people on a job well done and encourage them to maybe continue it into a Dry February.
That's really cute.
Yeah, and there have been a couple of times where they've congratulated people on getting their AA chips. It's really wholesome and wonderful, and the stuff they really should have been doing since they got on Twitter.
Yeah, just positive vibes, man.
Yeah.
We're not here to shame people.
In New York, the state party has also made a push for advocacy for specific laws. In particular, they're pushing for the Addiction Prevention and Recovery Act. And the law is pretty simple. The idea is they would increase the liquor tax from 4% to 6%. And 6% is what we have here in Illinois already. And that extra 2% would entirely be spent on recovery and addiction programs across the state. And that's it.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah, that's it. That's an easy layup. Then that's pretty much what they're working on. They would still very much like for alcohol, tobacco, and drugs to be illegal. That would be the ultimate dream come true. But until then, if they can help people get over addictions, they are
Right.
fighting for that like crazy. Which brings us to literally today. As we're recording, the Prohibition Party is meeting at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Cheektowaga, New York, outside of Buffalo.
I've been there.
Yeah, tell me about
I mean, not
Cheektowaga.
it's a lovely suburb community that feels pretty much like part of Buffalo. It's just technically not,
Yeah.
the way that like you drive out into Oak Park and it's like, yeah, this is clearly not Chicago, but I also don't know where the line was that
Exactly,
told
yeah.
me. Yeah.
It's like suddenly you start to get a bunch of gingerbread houses, but the blue line's still there, so
Yeah,
you're still in
exactly.
Chicago.
Yes, yes. No, it's perfectly fine. I think my brother-in-law lives there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So they're meeting there to set their platform and to nominate their 2024 president and vice president, which leads into the main fuck up old Dusty made going into this episode. Because when I saw this like a month ago, I was like, oh, the 8th and the 9th, that's gotta be a weekend. There's no way they would do this during the week.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. And so we're not really going to know who their presidential nominee is until tomorrow evening at the earliest. I'm expecting Wednesday we'll find out. So just like last week, there's going to be an addendum. So that being said, the draft of the 2024 platform that will be presented to the convention has been posted online, and I think that's more than a fine jumping off place to start out the discussion. The party platform has grown quite a bit since the single gauger years, and 2024 features 19 proposed planks, which is up 4 from 2020. We're just kind of going to go over them, So economic development is the first. They are wanting to balance the federal budget. In their 2020 platform, they said they wanted a constitutional amendment for this, but I think they would be perfectly fine with a law to do this. And they also want to adjust the budget to make transportation, energy, public health services, and communication technology the priority. Now, I will say in a later part of this, they do state they do not want to cut any military spending. So I don't know where this money's coming from to be able to prioritize these things or to balance the budget.
From taxing that sweet, sweet liquor.
Oh my God. One can hope. But I do think that's another thing to bring up to the platform is there's not a whole lot of clear, concise policy issues or bills that they're going to introduce. They're more just general vibes and general things they'd like to see. Education. They support school vouchers, but they also approve the Department of Education setting minimal standards for education, which is, usually whenever you see support school vouchers, I'm used to seeing abolish the Department of Education following that. But if you really kind of want to get fucked with right now, they fully support free 4-year community college.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also, they support complete total student debt relief with one caveat. If we get our debt wiped clean, everyone else who has already paid their student loan debt gets their money back.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, these terms are fair. I agree with this.
Sure.
No idea where you're getting the money from for
Nope.
it because you are not making cuts anywhere from what I've seen. But I like the cut of your jib. It's a good
Make
jib.
it rain.
Yeah. And finally, they support retraining programs for displaced and disabled workers, as well as including the dangers of drug and alcohol into school curricula, which I think already is. I don't know if it's like official, but I do remember at least once a year throughout middle school and high school, you learn about drugs and you learn they're bad.
I mean, I think that was part of the DARE program, which has been phased out largely.
Yeah, for not being very good at what it was supposed to do.
Which should maybe be a note that this party takes in for suggestion.
I will say that at no point did they state that they support DARE.
Okay.
They do make a list of programs that they support, and DARE was not there. They do not support the suitcase of pills.
There is no DARE there.
Right. Exactly. All right, so moving over to environment. This is one that I really drives me nuts because they support, mitigating climate change and pushing for environmental protections, so long as it doesn't mess that much with business. So
not at all, because business is the biggest polluter. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I can recycle all the cans I want, but if DuPont is going to continue leaking chemicals into the Delaware River.
Yeah, it really, really sucks because, like I said, there's going to be a couple of times where it's just vibes, but this one might be the most just vibes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Second most. We're going to have one worse. They also say, like, we should get to energy independence and get renewable energy and give tax subsidies to businesses that switch from oil to renewable energy. And they're not going to do that because that's going to cost them money unless you're paying all the money for them to put solar panels up there, and you can guarantee it's going to have the same energy as oil will with no pause in between. They're not going to fucking do it.
I'm so confused by this party.
I view a lot of it as like there's some really cool growth going on here.
Okay.
I think that you got to grade this on a curve.
You're right. You're right. This is the 16-year-old who at 14 read Ayn Rand and is starting to come out of it.
Yeah. It's like I think we both probably support some pretty out there ideas, and there's not a lot of parties that are going to be aligned with us one for one. And the Prohibition Party does come from a history of like, yeah, we had some real xenophobic ideas for a while. Let's see what
remember when we made that amendment? That we did something. Sure, it ended in the mafia taking over.
Oh man, you could I will say, if you want to get into a long argument, there are absolutely people who will argue that prohibition created the mafia and organized crime.
I will hear out that argument.
If I remember right, their keynote speaker for this is actually that's going to be his topic. So I don't know. I would love to hear it. I doubt I'll agree with it, but
right. So I just love the keynote speaker being like, so listen, you could have alcohol and what was the M6 or whatever? Who was the Colombian
MI6? Right, no.
Yeah,
that's MS-13?
MS-13.
Oh my God.
Like, do you want alcohol and MS-13?
Like, I'm sure the argument is organized crime would have shown up no matter what. It's just, it was alcohol was the thing people needed, so that's why it showed up. Oh yeah, here's the one that's the most vibes. Equality. They're for it.
Equality?
Yeah, it's
what? Just
that.
Where do I get the bumper sticker?
Look, I should read it to you just because I feel kind of like a jerk just because I read it a few times and I'm like, all I'm seeing in this is just like, yeah, equality. Okay, quote, we abhor all forms of racism, discrimination, harassment, hatred, structural inequality, and violence directed at any group. We support a just and inclusive society with equal opportunities for all, including equal pay for equal work. We support equal recognition and opportunities for persons with disabilities. Vibes,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you could say you support the Equality Act. You could say you support the constitutional amendment for it. There are things that you could say here to back this up.
And again, you could also flaunt a little bit that your party has made an amendment happen, unlike all these other parties.
Right. This reads
we got it done.
This reads like an apology from a business that is about 3 weeks from being taken off the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah. It's 2 seconds away from also giving a land acknowledgement statement.
Oh my God. Yep. Wow. Yeah. And so it's look, baby steps, but come on.
I feel it's like someone, like, I don't know, some consulting group they hired looked through their platform and was like, so are you guys not against equality? And it's like, whoa. Oh, okay. We just need to put something in there so that like the absence doesn't mean that we're against it.
Right. And that does put them ahead of at least a few parties who are like, fuck equality, and put that on the platform.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're right, Dusty. We got to grade this on a curve.
Exactly. It's like, I'm glad seeing it here is kind of like a good sign of things to come. This is like, I'm not giving you an A+, but see me after class and we'll talk about it.
Right.
Healthcare. Okay. So I think this is one we could talk about a lot because their big thing with healthcare is that absolutely no one should be forced into debt over a medical decision, and that any medical necessity that someone needs should be free, and they should be able to get it no matter what. However, you should also be allowed to keep your private insurance. I'm not sure if we are talking about a universal healthcare situation here.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure we're not talking about Medicare for all, because I'm pretty sure Medicare for All kicks out private insurance completely, to my understanding. They do support
Sure.
Medicare and Medicaid, so there is that. But I like where this is going. I like the fact that they're saying any medical emergency and any medical necessity should be free to anyone who needs it. I would like to know more about where that line is between medical necessity and medical want.
Yeah, yeah. That's a huge issue for the trans community right now, isn't it? That
Exactly.
like,
Yeah. Because I'm
yeah.
sure. Yeah. Once again, it's something I really like to see. They're so close to just saying Medicare for all, and I don't know if they can.
Just do it, you
It's so
guys.
close. I mean, like you will be doing something that maybe one other political party has said. This would be huge for you guys. You could get a whole realm of people that you had not expected to join your party if you just
Mhm.
added that.
Yeah, especially when like teens and young adults aren't drinking that much
Right.
anymore to begin with. It's
Yeah.
like just be an easy on ramp
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
for all those progressive kiddios.
yeah, to use an old timer term, there are a lot of straight edge kids who could use a home.
Yeah, yes.
But then it gets worse. I'm sorry. We're going to immigration. And
What?
you know how I was talking about balancing the budget? You're not going to get it here because they're going to fully fund ICE and Border Patrol.
Whoa, what?
One of the things I did like in 2020 that isn't in the 2024 is they wanted to get rid of for-profit immigration detention centers.
Yes.
I don't know if that's something they still want to do or if they just left it out of this draft, but I'm a little sad not to see it. Probably the worst part is they only want to allow asylum requests from people currently in their home country and would deny asylum requests by anyone who made it to America through what could be considered a safe haven country. So it's the way it is right now. If you're get to the the Mexican or Canadian border, you can immediately apply for asylum, and by international law, we immediately let you in, and then start to work on the paperwork to make sure you're okay because you're at danger. If you're applying
Yes.
for asylum, you're at the line of being murdered and
Yeah.
your life at risk. And the way this is set up is they want you to go to the American embassy in the country where you live and then apply for asylum there instead of walking through Mexico or through Canada to get to the border.
I just hate that argument so much because it's just so pissy and one-sided, and the inability to actually just for 1 second consider what the other person has gone through.
Mhm.
Just to imagine for a second, it's like, yeah, I'm sure this person who's currently at the border would have also have loved to apply for asylum in their
Mhm.
home country.
Yep.
Think for a minute why maybe they didn't do that. It's also just like there's a cruelty to that thought as well, a cruelty by way of privilege, that like, oh, so you never had to really experience bureaucracy. Do you have any idea how long that paperwork takes? That's the whole point of like just admitting them into the country
Mhm.
ASAP,
Yeah.
and then getting the paperwork started. Because it's like, at least then it's like, now you have a taxpayer. Now you have someone who's like working and
Yeah.
being a model citizen and just trying to get over the horrific trauma that led them to the States in the first place.
Yeah. And we covered it a while ago. I can't remember for which episode, but immigrants who are here due to asylum, they are very easily tracked by the government. None of them are really trying to sneak by and hide. The percentage of people who are doing that is extremely low. And so it's just a non-issue, really. And it's very, very fucking frustrating, but especially on the heels of potentially Medicare for all light.
Right. And
Diet Medicare
equality,
for all.
thumbs up.
General equality.
General equality, good.
Yeah. And we might as well stay on the crappy part. Supporting federal right to work.
No.
Yeah. I meant to look into this why right to work is the worst, but to my knowledge, right to work sounds great. But what it means is your employer has the right to fire you at any time.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
all it is. It's,
And
the idea behind it being you could join a union, but you don't have to. You can't be forced into joining a union. But really, all that comes down to is your employer being able to use the law to make sure that no one can form unions, and then you get fired without cause.
Yep.
They also believe that people should not be forced to work on their personal Sabbath, which I think would be hilarious to do to the restaurant industry.
I mean, please unleash that on Gen Z. My personal Sabbath is Monday through Saturday.
Yep. Yeah, you didn't specify what religion.
Yeah.
Like, I know
Yeah.
you're coming very much from a Christian background, but it's just imagining the fury of the worst people at a church going to a restaurant and realizing there will never be another one open after church ever again
Yep.
would be
We're all Chick-fil-A now, motherfucker.
beautiful. Just piles of those fake $100 bills at home, never to be tipped again. See, so going to legislation, they would like to ban alcohol advertising, very much like cigarettes and tobacco's advertising is banned now.
Sure.
But also a zero tolerance for driving under the influence with alcohol or booze, or with alcohol or drugs. And so typically here in America, how it is there's driving under the influence, which means you're drunk, you're above a certain percentage. There's driving while intoxicated, which means you're not quite at the drunk number, but you're still driving like a jerk. So you can at least get that lesser sentence. But there's, plenty of opportunity to just drink one beer and be fine enough to drive home. And what the Prohibition Party would like is for that to also be a crime.
I mean, show me how that'll actually be regulated, because as it is, like, that's what people are doing. If you're caught driving under the influence, it's because you're probably driving under the influence a lot.
Right.
I mean, listen, dollars to donuts. I see a lot of high drivers in Chicago.
Yeah.
So, like, most people are either texting or high if you're on the roads in Chicago, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know. We all somehow make it work, kind of, but I mean, there are a lot of bike deaths. I don't know. It's not. It's not the hill I'm going to die on. I don't care.
I think that's a good point, though, where it's like, I don't think it really replaces what already exists, because like you said, if you're getting pulled over for driving like a jerk and you either smell like all the weed or you rate something on the blood alcohol test,
right,
you're gonna get at least at minimum a ticket for that. It's already against the law.
Fun side note, when I did an internship in LA, I did not have a car and was on the buses and what little train system they have there. And the joke I always made was I got to see LA the way someone with a DUI sees LA.
Yep. I'm gonna skip military stuff and religious liberty because they support anyone practicing whatever religion you want. I already said they don't support cutting military spending. Sanctity of life. This is a big one. They're pro-life in every regard. So they want to ban abortion, capital punishment, and euthanasia.
I'm no longer surprised. Like, I feel like at this point, it's like, you know what it is? I feel like with this party is the really fun campus organization that you start to get involved with because you want to like save the whales or some shit. And then like, as you get in, the more you realize like, wait, why is that guy talking like a youth minister? Oh, he is one?
Oh
no.
Am I campus crusading for Christ?
Yes, exactly. It's like, I just wanted to save the whales.
Yeah. But if we're grading on a curve, there is one improvement from 2020 to now. Because in 2020, it was very much abortion is, make it illegal. This year, they note that men should not be the ones to decide the legality of abortion. Don't know how they're going to make that a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, the 8 women they allow into the Tennessee government will decide, I guess.
No, like, right. It's like, are they placing that choice back onto the woman whose life is at stake? No, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Their solution to that is states' rights, though. They're really big into states' rights.
Of course they are.
Yeah. Second Amendment rights. Support them entirely, but not for machine guns, assault weapons, or weapons of war. They believe that these should be, quote, tightly controlled. And this is a shift from their 2020 platform again, because in 2020, they gave full 100% support to the NRA. Not a peep about the NRA this year.
Well, they know what's tracking with the youth vote.
Yeah. Social Security, keep it. States' rights, love it, make them stronger. They're against increasing the number of Supreme Court justices. And we get to your favorite, tax reform. They would like to simplify the tax code, which includes ending estate taxes and previously taxed wealth. They would like a flat income tax with a federal value-added tax. Get rid of value-added taxes on food, shelter, and energy exempt on low-income households. So also, I don't know how you're going to do that. So
Mm.
essentially, just get rid of taxes. If you're poor, no taxes on your food, shelter, or energy. I guess that's something you would have to fill out at the end of the year based on your income, but you're going to have to save a fuck ton of receipts for that to work, or get like some sort of, I don't know, some version of a SNAP card that also includes a tax exempt status to go along with it.
It would have to be. And also, like, what tax on their home? Are they assuming the poor actually own their home?
I mean, I'm sure some have inherited homes, and that's part of it.
Sure.
A question I was kind of wondering with apartments is, property taxes baked into your rent. So does
Yeah,
that do a thing
right.
at all? Like
Can
if you're
you
renting?
offset some of the rising costs of housing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, there's taxes on energy and stuff like that, but it's kind of negligible. And getting Com Edison to do anything,
Good luck.
yeah, you're given the bill for someone else. They're still going to make you pay it 8 years down the road, hell or high water. It's a cool idea, I think. It's just, I would like to see more ideas on how you're going to make it happen.
Mhm.
They support term limits, but don't say for how long. They do support people having an ID to vote,
Come on, guys.
but they do support it also being free through the government. But once again, this brings up the issue. Say you're homeless
Yeah.
and you have to deal with a once a week sweep where the local police are taking all your stuff and throwing it in the dumpster. Are you going to have to go every single week to get a new ID just so you can vote later on?
It just feels like a lot of like privileged kid policy, where it's like, we'll just make all the IDs free. It's like, so have you ever met anyone outside of your own like class echelon?
You're right. This is a lot of the complaints I think people have with progressives, where it's like, you want to have
Yeah.
all this free shit.
Yeah.
We're like, well, cut military. Just do
Right.
that.
Right.
Do
Yes.
that. And this is literally a Santa's list of so much stuff that's free, but not a single note of what should be cut.
Right. Or where the revenue is coming from.
Exact, which they do kind of bring up with their final plank, alcohol, tobacco, and recreational drugs, where you raise the tax on alcohol, but you would have to raise that tax extraordinarily high to be
Oh,
able to
and
pay for
Dusty,
all
I
these other
bet they want to.
Yeah, they have said it's raise it by 50%. So, like I said, if it's 6% here in Illinois, it'd end up at 9% if they did that. But
Mm,
that's a state tax. That's not really it's not really a federal tax, and so I guess that
yeah.
would be added on. It's a whole fucking thing. However, they do support the use of marijuana if it is medically prescribed.
Okay.
Yeah, I got anxiety, so I'm good.
Yeah.
We're gonna go right back to that medicinal whiskey that was all the rage in the 20s.
Yeah. Yeah. Use the original formula for Coca-Cola. Let's see how well this goes.
And to round things out, they would also like to assist tobacco farmers and vineyards in switching to a new crop. And I guess that would be through subsidies and education and things like that.
Yes, but like Napa and Sonoma are pretty dope. Like,
Yeah.
good fucking luck. And
Yeah.
also, like, so much of the time, like, tobacco's different. Tobacco, like, I can totally see that because that can fuck with the earth if you're planting tobacco long enough. But with like, and I'm sure you know this too from your wine days, that like
Yeah.
the whole point is not much grows there.
Yeah, yeah, it's very, very difficult to grow much of anything where grapes grow well. And I don't think you really have to change what you're making if you have a vineyard. However, if you ever ate like a Cabernet grape by itself, nowhere near as good as Concord. It's not a very good edible grape, so you have to try to figure out something else to do with it. And with all that land and all that water you're using, pretty much all you're going to be doing is just abandoning all these grapevines until they die, and then you just have a bunch of unusable land.
Oh,
So yeah, so that's the 2024 platform. Some good, some not great, and just
yeah.
a lot of questions I'd really like to be answered.
Yeah, this is a mishmash of just like, ugh.
Yeah, but if we're grading on a curve,
Okay.
yeah, if we're grading on a curve, what would you give it?
Grading on a curve, I'd give it a B minus.
Yeah, I was thinking like a C plus B minus. It's
Yeah.
I like it way better than getting the immigrants to assimilate. That's at least an F.
I mean, yeah, I like it more than the like clear fascist direction of some of the other parties we've examined that are also trying to throw their hat in the ring for this upcoming year. But also, it's one of the things of like, with the grading metaphor of like, okay, your dog died, but like you said, like you need to see me after class. Like, I understand you've got some things going on in your personal life, but this was also sloppy work.
Yeah. It's why the incomplete grade was invented.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't think it's like incomplete work. I don't think it's so bad that it's something that should be posted online and mocked till the end of time. I'd be very excited to see more details, whether I like the answer or not. Just some more details would be really, really.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the folks running for this year's nomination. And while we won't know for sure who the presidential nominee is until at least tomorrow, we can safely call the vice presidential nomination due to the fact that only one guy is running for it.
Hey.
John Pietrowski doesn't have a ton about him online, but thanks to the Prohibition Party of New York's newsletter, we do get a little info. John is currently 63, lives in Toledo, Ohio, and is a retired postal clerk. John made the newspaper once in his life, from what I could tell from newspapers.com, and it was in 1977 when he was 17 when he was the runner-up for a logo design contest held by the Ohio Department of Safety. The winner of the contest got, I guess it was a lease to a 1978 car. The way they framed it is it was a car that was owned by the environmental department that the winner could use whenever they wanted, like free use of it. So I don't really know how that worked.
And yeah, definitely not owned outright.
But the runners-up, of which there were 12, received a plaque and a 10-speed bike.
Cute.
Yeah, so really, really good 70s gift. Following that, he would major in graphic design at the University of Toledo, but would transfer to Bowling Green State University. Ultimately, though, he would drop out of college once he got a job at the post office. And after 33 years there, he retired. And now that he's not a federal employee, he can actually take part in a lot more Prohibition Party events. Because prior to that, he would be violating the Hatch Act if he started running for office or starting to, outwardly support his party.
Yeah, that thing we used to honor before Trump became president.
Yep. But no, John was very serious about it. Now that he's retired, the Prohibition Party is his retirement hobby.
Aw.
Currently, he's serving as the National Committeeman for Ohio and has previously used his graphic design knowledge to make presidential buttons for the 2012 and 2016 campaigns. The only other bits I could find about John involved him surviving a possible road rage accident in 2021. From what I could tell, it wasn't directed to him. He was just wrong place, wrong time.
Oof.
And there was a Huffington Post article from 2022 discussing Democratic Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur. Now, Marcy is Congresswoman for Toledo and the area surrounding, and at the time she was running against a Republican named J.R. Majewski, who made his name by turning his giant yard into a blue Trump sign that you could only see from the sky. He also was at January 6th. He has a decent amount of QAnon beliefs.
Oh boy.
And he highly exaggerated his military service and job experience.
Oh no.
These things combined together caused him to lose to Marcy Kaptur when it was thoroughly believed that she was going to lose because she was gerrymandered into a Trump, I believe, +5 district.
Oof.
But she ends up beating the guy.
Hey.
And he's running again this year, so... But the Huffington Post would interview John briefly for this, and John would say that he supported J.R. Majewski because, quote, "I like the fact that Trump endorsed him, and I like the fact that he's a veteran."
Is he?
Technically, yeah. Technically, JR actually was in the military. He just very much exaggerated what he did in it.
Got it.
Yeah, like for instance, with his work, he worked at a nuclear power plant in Northwest Ohio, and would state on his website that he was a consultant for various other power plants and nuclear energies and things like that. Locals would eventually come out and say, "No, he's a security guard. He's a security guard at the plant."
Yikes.
Yeah. So John Pietrowski is a Trumpist, which isn't great, but he's their vice presidential nominee unless something very weird happens during the convention.
Oh boy.
And so John promises to support the eventual presidential candidate and to grow awareness of the party by reaching out to MAD, the lesser-known DAD, and Aware Awake Alive, which is an organization that focuses entirely on alcohol poisoning.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much it. Which brings us to the three guys running for the presidential nomination. Usually I'd go in the order of who has the less chance to win to the best chance of winning, but that's something I base on quality of website, the number of endorsements you get. And 2 of the 3 have websites, but they don't really say much of anything other than, "Hi, I'm me, I'm running."
I'm impressed there's that much, frankly.
Yeah, and so there's not much I can really state. So I'm just going to go alphabetical on this. And
Right.
I think it'll inadvertently still do lesser to greater, but it gives me more of an out. First up, we have Scott Bayer of Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Scott was born in 1981 and predominantly spent his career working in janitorial services. It isn't verified by his bio, but I am about 75%ish certain that he ran for office in the first time in 2005. He would run for New Jersey General Assembly in the 10th District, but at this point he hadn't joined the Prohibition Party. He would join the party in 2016, I believe. Might be wrong on that. But when he ran for office in 2005, he did so under the banner of the Socialist Party USA.
Oh.
He would end up finishing fifth out of five with 584 votes. The New York Newsletter notes that 2 years after this election, Scott would become disabled and due to this was no longer able to work. It is also important to note that I was kind of going back and forth on how to talk about Scott because there are some comments he makes on his Twitter that it definitely give me pause in certain regards, but I think if I just say what they are, you can draw your own conclusions and we can go from there. And mainly it's stuff that's very contradictory and stuff that when push comes to shove doesn't seem to really align with the truth that much.
Okay.
For example, in the newsletter, he describes himself as an Episcopalian, but on his Twitter, he claims to identify as Mormon.
Oh.
Yeah. There's also a claim he made that he previously dated WWE wrestler Liv Morgan. Liv's also from New Jersey, so it was one of those things where it's like, this could have happened. Maybe they dated when they were in high school or something. But Liv was born 13 years after Scott and grew up in Elmwood Park, New Jersey, which is an hour and a half away from where Scott lives. If we're skipping ahead, there seems to be about a 2-year period when Liv was between the ages of 18 and 20 that I believe Scott could have potentially dated her. Because the age of 20 is when she's discovered by WWE and begins doing that, going on tour on NXT, which is kind of like the WWE minor leagues where you're training people, you're letting them get used to being on camera before you promote them up into the main stage.
Sure.
And during that time between 18 and 20, she's living in Wyckoff, New Jersey, which again is an hour and a half from where Scott lives. So I don't believe him. I don't think this happened. I don't think he ever dated Liv Morgan. And even if he did, there's not really a lot of time where it wouldn't have been creepy as fuck because when she was 18, he was 31.
It's
Which
not
happened,
a great look.
but it's not great. And I don't know where they would have met each other based on their backgrounds because she was very much in the gym early on. From what I read, as a child, she was ready to be a wrestler. She was getting ready for that very early on in life.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, I don't see how it could have possibly happened. And Liv Morgan's also never said that she's dated this guy. I mean, she's pretty private about her life. I mean, the only thing that's really out there about her personal life is a couple of years ago, she started studying real estate, despite the fact that she's still in the WWE and still wrestling. She's just kind of preparing for whatever happens next already.
Sure. And I can also imagine like the pay is not that great. And
Yeah,
so you might want,
yeah, she's definitely branching out. She's going to be in her first movie next year. It's,
good for her.
Yeah, she's got a good career going for her. So Scott would follow this claim up, after saying that he dated her by saying that she should really wear her glasses when wrestling. Which, I mean, look, you go ahead. What would be your initial reaction to that? Because I think mine
is like, that's dangerous. No,
yes.
Like the whole point is you're getting punched and thrown around.
Exact. Look, I'm going to date myself for some real WWF bullshit. During the 90s, there was a wrestler who went by the name Erwin R. Shyster, who was a buff IRS agent who'd beat you up. Great gimmick. Really, really good gimmick. I believe the wrestler who had the character's name's Mike Rotunda, which is
amazing.
Was born with great names. And he would walk to the ring with glasses because, of course, you're a tax agent. Of course you're
Yes, part of the look.
He took them off before every match.
Of course.
Because, you are having a hard enough time nailing the choreography with someone else in dangerous situations. You don't want to, whip your head and smack him with a set of glasses while he's trying to do a pile driver.
Right. Even if they're empty frames, it's still that is plastic very close to your eyeball.
Right. Let's say you're the Undertaker and you mess up a tombstone on him and he lands face first on his glasses. That's not going to go well. And also, how do you know that she's not wearing contacts, you ass?
Also, it just screams like you'd be pretty if you smiled more. That's really what it feels like.
Oh, are you ready to run this theme for a little bit longer?
No.
Because there's an obvious location where this shitty train's going.
Take me there, Dusty.
It'd be cool if she wore her glasses, but it's pointless because women shouldn't even be allowed to wrestle or box because it's unladylike, it's a bad influence on children, and it's ungodly. If he dated her, he would know that she was inspired as a child watching WWF wrestler Lita perform to inspire her to become a wrestler. Obviously, that worked out. That was a great influence on a child.
Yeah, this. Well, he either like got dumped for never listening to her, or he never dated her in the first place and just has like one of those psychotic fantasy minds that lead to like MRA subreddits.
Yeah, it feels parasocial as fuck. But he accepts that Liv's probably going to wrestle, so at minimum, she should wear a costume that covers her stomach for the kids.
I mean, fucking like it's just such a dumb take. It's such a garbage dude take. It's like, sir, you're definitely like, and it's that like you're saying it because deep down you're probably shamed by how much you watch women doing WWE.
And that's the thing.
It's like embracing it.
I'm nowhere near like a wrestling super fan. I watch enough to kind of keep up, but we're in a golden age of lady wrestling. Like women's wrestling has some of the most incredible acrobatics now compared to what it was even 10 years ago. It's night and day. Just fucking love it. Just enjoy what you're fucking watching. Goddamn creep.
You know, if you're going to be the president of the Prohibition Party, what happened to equality?
Right?
Yay.
Equality generally. Come on. You're
going to have to take up this platform, sir, the way she's going to have to take up a chair and smash it over her opponent's back.
Oh my God, yes. So another issue towards winning the nomination for Scott is that while he's a member of the Prohibition Party and was even a national committee member for New Jersey for a year, on January 9th, he claimed to have joined the Forward Party.
Wait, Andrew Yang's party?
Yup.
Oh, no.
But the Forward Party's also, their big thing is like, you don't have to leave your party. You can just join it. You can be part of two parties.
This isn't Buddhism.
So it's not a complete deal breaker, but it's a little weird. But even worse is that Scott has already endorsed someone else for president.
Wow, this is just piling on, much like the ending of a WWE contest.
Oh my God. Would you like to guess who he endorsed?
Oh man, the John the January 6th Trumpist.
Jerry Majewski. Oh yeah. Or, him? No. He Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh my God, no.
The
anti-vaxxer. Oh no.
Yeah. But if party members can look past all of that, Scott does have some policies he would like to add on to the platform. He's against drilling in the Arctic, against letting the debt ceiling lapse. He was against the censuring of Zoe Zephyr, the state senator from Montana, and supports all trans legislatures and the Tennessee Three. He supports trans rights, supports officially ending the Korean War because, fun fact, that war still isn't done. We never signed a peace treaty.
Yeah, it's just at an impasse.
He wants to implement red flag gun laws and background checks to protect the lesser prairie chicken, which apparently is at risk of extinction, is against nationalism and Christo-fascism. He wants to move Inauguration Day back to March 4th, which is a practice America stopped in 1937. And he supports a two-state solution to Israel and Palestine, and symbolizes this by wearing a Palestinian keffiyeh in every single one of his political speeches.
My head is spinning.
Yeah. Scott,
on the one hand, weird online negging of a woman he might or may not have dated, and just like, just red flags with the Forward Party involvement. But then on the other hand, like that all sounds great. Like that's much more progressive than the party platform. Yeah,
there's a bit of appropriation with the Palestinian keffiyeh, but
But again, grading on a curve. Like,
grading on a curve. You're right. Grading on a curve.
How many American presidential candidates, even like with this snowball's chance in hell, have acknowledged the Palestinian plight at all?
The good thing, though, is that if he doesn't win the nomination, he does seem ready to run for county executive in Mercer County. So he at least is going to have something to fall back on.
Okay, nozzle.
Next up, we move to the candidate with easily the most name recognition, but only if you're either terminally online or deep into health influencers.
Oh, no.
Zach Kuznier was born in 1989 and raised in San Diego, California.
Okay, don't love how he's younger than me, but
Oh
continue.
yeah, this he is going to be just barely old enough to be president. If he
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like by months. Zach would make his name as a standout athlete who would focus on baseball and football in high school. Eventually, he landed at La Jolla County Day School, which is really good at sports. They've won, I believe, 193 state championships over 55 different sports.
Wow.
And while he was there, he would play baseball and football. In his junior year playing football, he split time between tight end and linebacker. Una, how much do you know about football positions?
Absolutely none.
All
There's
right.
a quarterback.
Yes. So tight end is an offensive position where your job is to catch the ball, but also you're big enough that you can block people from trying to tackle other people.
Got it.
It's also the sexiest position.
Go on.
And linebacker is just the same as all defense. Your job is to hit people, but you also might be asked to try to block passes.
Okay.
Best way I can describe. So yeah, he's pretty much playing the big tough guy in sport.
Mm.
However, his senior year, he would switch over to being the starting quarterback for the team.
Ooh.
Sadly, his stats for that year is locked behind a paywall, so I
Oh,
assume
what
he
the
did.
hell?
Yeah, it's for this page called Max Preps. It's mostly for college recruiters and things like that. So, of course, they should make money from those people. They have it to spend.
Yeah.
I don't really need. That being said, the stats I saw for his baseball career, he had really good stats for baseball, and I'm kind of shocked he didn't go forward with that. But he really wanted to play quarterback in college football. In 2008, he would join the San Diego State Aztecs as their quarterback, and he would redshirt his first year. Redshirting essentially is something you could do as a freshman. It's a designation you get that essentially says there is no way you are going to play any games this year. So you're just going to accept that at the beginning of the year, and then we're just not going to count a year of your eligibility. And you could spend the next 4 years racking that up. So you could skip your freshman year, be at practices, and get all the work in, and then eventually be a fifth-year senior playing for the team if that so happens.
Got it. Okay.
However, sometime during the 2008 season, Zach would suffer a horrible injury. We don't know what, because even to this day, he refuses to talk about it, and I'm really glad people don't push him on it.
Yeah.
But the injury was so bad that he had to quit being a quarterback.
Oh, no.
In 2010, he would fully recuperate and transferred from San Diego State to USC. In particular, he was going to USC for the business school, but figured I'm going to be there in the fall anyway. I might as well try out for the team. And what he was doing was what's known as being a walk-on, where you just you're not invited by the school, you don't have a scholarship, you just kind of show up with a bunch of other people. This article described it, either played football in high school or got really, really drunk and signed up to give it a shot. And you show up for tryouts and try to make it onto the team. And even in most normal colleges, this almost never works out. And in a football powerhouse like USC, it is near impossible to be a walk-on. But Zach does it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And so instead of being a quarterback, he's now going to be a tight end, back to the sexy position, and is spending most of his time studying business. In 2011, he'd make one last position change to the position of defensive tackle, which is linebacker, you're hitting people, but you're trying to knock down passes. Defensive tackle, all you're doing is just hitting people, and you're not trying to do anything else. And this would be the position that he would stay in. In 2011, he'd end up making it into his first game. In total, over his 2-year career, he'd make it into 6 games and register no statistics, tackled no one. You know, he was in games, but he didn't really do it.
Got it.
And in 2012, he would beat the odds one last time by applying for a 6th-year exemption from the NCAA, essentially saying, I was injured far too much from 2008 to 2010. I would really like this extra year to play. It's rare that they give it out, and he ended up getting it.
Huh.
And so he's playing football as a grad student at USC while he is in the MBA program.
Oh my God.
In 2013, he graduates with his master's degree and he begins his career in finance. From 2014 to 2023, he has just climbed the financial ladder. In 2016, he ends up at Merrill Lynch. By 2018, he is an assistant vice president with Merrill Lynch. In 2019, he's a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. And in 2022, he left to be a commercial account executive with a company called Audit Board. But Zach's not the kind of guy to just have one career, like a fucking cuck.
Oh no.
Dude has a manly fucking side hustle. Because you see, after he left college, he suffered the same thing that a lot of football players in college do, where you realize once you're out in the real world and you're not training every single day, your metabolism kind of falls the fuck apart.
Yep.
And he starts looking into things to try to figure out how he can get back to his old stature and feel good about his body again. And he discovers a cure, and it's called ketosis.
Oh no.
Yep. Zach Kuznier gets super into the keto diet.
No.
So, if you really want to deep dive into the keto diet, I'd highly recommend checking out Maintenance Phases episode about it. But the general idea is that it's a high fat, no carb diet that, if done right, puts the body into a state of ketosis. So, instead of burning glucose normally, it burns fat because the body believes that you're fasting.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard to do, but
Yes.
you can do it. There's risks that go along with it, blood pressure risks, gout.
Yeah, best if done with some like medical observation.
Right.
And not like keto snacks you picked up at Whole Foods.
Right. I think it's even something he would admit. It's definitely something you shouldn't do privately without anyone else keeping an eye on you. But yeah, he ends up doing this and is able to build a side hustle out of this, training people on his version of the keto diet that works for him, while also assigning people a training regimen that he does himself. From this, he forms his company called Zach Strength, which is his business and his Instagram account. And it's through this Insta that he became internet famous. Now, I'm going to send you a picture here, Una.
Oh, I can't wait.
Of the Insta that made him internet famous. And when you see it, describe to the people what you see.
Oh, no. Okay. It's 2 porterhouse steaks with a tablespoon of butter on each, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and half a dozen what look like over medium eggs, and then and then the caption for it is protein, saturated fat, cholesterol, gains, winning, and a shit ton of hashtags.
Yeah. So I'm also going to send you this other picture so you can get an idea of what Zach looks like. And it'll also show you the other meals that he eats. Because people saw this picture and they thought to themselves, holy fuck, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he's got the long hair beard look of everyone who's tried to sell you crypto.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and listen, I will say I am a red meat eater. I do enjoy it. For those at home, it's a series of pictures. We've got the classic 2 porterhouses with the tablespoon of butters and half a dozen eggs. We've got half a dozen eggs and like a really large, like medium rare, possibly rare T-bone steak. We've got 2 fillets of salmon, also with tablespoons of butter on them, and then half a dozen eggs with lox on top, and then just just a clusterfuck of meat and bacon. Yeah, mystery meat, bacon, some eggs in there, cheese, and then what I assume is a steak underneath all of that.
I mean, it's Atkins as fuck.
I'm constipated just looking at it. Like, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the salmon one looks particularly good, I think, but also just I like salmon and butter. So that's great.
I love lox. I mean, that half of it looked delicious.
Yeah. I mean, I was pretending lox on fries, which sounded in my head at the time really good, but who freaking knows? But yeah, so people lost their shit at this picture. Zach notes that this steak, egg, and butter bomb is a very regular meal of his, something he would eat about twice a day typically.
Oh.
And while people freaked out, it's also an extremely normal keto diet.
It's also mad expensive.
Yes, it is extremely fucking expensive. One person would note that there's not a lick of vegetable to be seen. This would lead Zach to post another meal after this, where it was pretty much the same meal, but there was like 1 floret of broccoli hanging out on the plate. But this is also because fruits and vegetables in the keto diet are considered carbs.
Right.
So you just can't do it.
Everything is terrible.
But lucky for you and me, we can get just as ripped as Zach. On his website, he does list a number of options that you can buy into. The cheapest one is $9.99, where you get his simple keto guide. If you want, fitness and nutrition counseling, that's $75. If you want a custom keto plan by him, that's $100. The most expensive option is a one-on-one 12-week coaching program, which I assume is done over Zoom, unless you live in New York City, which is where he lives, so you do it in person. That's $1,800. Which, for a 12-week program that's one-on-one coaching, not terrible, really.
Not terrible. No, yeah.
But Zach does offer 1 free item: instructions on how to increase your testosterone.
No.
Una, gods forgive me, I got it. And you could probably tell, because I am overwhelmed with testosterone since we
Yeah,
started
you're
this.
raging, friend.
It's true. My beard has a beard. So it turns out this 12-page pamphlet that I got, it's so tongue in cheek. It's kind of funny. It's purposely funny.
Ooh, okay.
I paid for something free and I got what I paid for. Because it's like, how do you increase your testosterone? Fuck ton of eggs, grow a mustache, do some lifting. And it's just like a children's book of this where it's just like, I don't know what I expected, but this is so much better than the grifty bullshit I was prepared for. It's,
Totally.
it's just a guy leaning into people going nuts over his keto diet that works for him. And this is something I probably should have realized after looking at his merchandise page, because his merchandise page is also jokes. The picture of his keto meal of the porterhouses and the eggs, you can buy that on a shirt. He sells a hat that says deadlifts are overrated.
Oh my God.
He's working on a shirt right now that has a pocket that will say pocket eggs on it. But my personal favorite is a Valentine's Day card that you can buy that says roses are red, violets are blue, grass is green, eggs.
Okay. So he's in on the joke.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's a really unique road where you can be a keto fitness influencer, but also have a sense of humor about yourself.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And of course, I do love that he's running for president of the Prohibition Party because, hey, man, alcohol, it's just empty carbs.
Yeah. And once again, amazing segue, Una. So Zach has been very serious about the Prohibition Party. He joined in 2010, which would have been the first election that he was able to vote in, and has been a consistent member of the party ever since. He's currently the party treasurer. He served on the social media committee and historical society, and is currently the reason that I think the Twitter is moved from beyond the grave. He's the guy in charge of the Twitter. So,
Oh,
yeah, it was the complete opposite of so many other people we talk about, where like I'm so excited to talk about them, and then they're like secret Nazis or something. And this
yeah.
one's like a meathead football guy. I bet he fucking sucks. And it's like, no, god damn it, he's fucking funny. Damn it. So, Zach has said that if he wins the nomination, he has one main goal, and that is to be the first candidate since 1976 to get more than 10,000 votes. That is the bar. Anything beyond that is a success for him.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he wants to reach out, to all the traditional media. He wants to get party membership via social media as well, which, if he's the presidential nominee, that he is going to have a lot of opportunity to do that, as we talked about with, straight edge kids need a home.
Yeah.
And along with the proposed party platform, he would also audit the national budget, promote ethical and regenerative farming, and reduce military presence overseas, which was initially in the Prohibition Party platform in 2020. Something they wanted to do then was to reduce the amount of military overseas to just run the embassies, and that's it. Which would have, I don't know, paid for a lot of free shit.
Maybe reduce some of the military budget. Just
right? It's like, Zach, what the fuck, man? I'm supposed to hate you. You're supposed to be a jerk. And the worst part of all of this, compared to his clean-shaven short hair pictures, the long hair works. It works for him, and it makes me furious.
Damn it.
Like, long straight hair, like you said, that should be crypto grift all the way. But this dude, God, it's going to bite me in the ass to say this. He seems like a genuinely nice guy.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't come back to haunt us.
It will.
I mean, it to be true.
I was thinking about this actually a couple of weeks ago when I realized that when we were talking about the Democrats having a shit time nominating people in Texas, and I was like, I don't know, Henry Cuellar, that's a guy, right? He'd be good for that. And then I actually looked into him, and I'm like, oh, he's a monster.
Oh no!
So that was
never meet your heroes.
No, that's an embarrassing thing on my list, but yeah, I mean, he seems like the best nominee the party has had in decades, but I don't think he's the front runner. Our final nominee is a retired businessman by the name of Michael Wood. Now, Michael was born in 1959, is the fifth generation of his family to call California home. In 1980, he got his bachelor's degree in political science from San Jose State University, but he would make his career in computers. From 1979 to 1995, Mike worked for IBM and Siemens before switching over to being a CEO and non-executive director for companies in Canada, Germany, and Japan. However, he would ultimately strike gold in 1997 with the creation of a company called the Virtual Chip Exchange. It operated as a website as a joint venture between a pair of companies that Mike worked for. And the general idea was that it was a website that that people could buy and sell computer chips on the old grandpa internet. It's kind of like a message board.
Oh.
The site did just fine, but it would explode in the year 2000 after the dot-com era came to an end. Predominantly, the reason behind this is that companies like Cisco and Motorola were making a fuck ton of processors and chips and computer components to help pay for an industry that was clearly going to keep growing no matter what. And when it crashed overnight, they were left over with a surplus of goods. And with the computer industry, the turnover of quality of product and how fast things could go, you have a limited amount of time before you could sell these chips and processors before they're completely obsolete.
Oh.
So either you sell them at a deep discount, you bite the bullet and you just throw them all away and scrap. So Mike comes along and buys them all to put on his website for people to buy and sell and for him to make a fuck ton of goddamn money.
Oh, damn.
Selling these things at at what would usually be cost, I assume, and still making a healthy fucking profit. So in 2001, this company gets so popular that he's profiled by Time Magazine, Business Week, and he won the most ancient thing I can possibly say, the Forbes Weekly Best of the Internet Web Award.
Oh, no.
You know those old little medallions that would be on the bottom of websites that would best of the web.
Oh,
He won one of them.
Back when there were 12 websites.
Yep. Back when people were just like, I can't just like copy paste that and put it on my website.
Yeah.
I would get hunted down by Forbes.
Yeah. It's about integrity, man.
Right? My Spice Girls webpage deserves to win that. I won't steal it. And since then, the virtual chip exchange hasn't changed much. The website's still up. You pretty much just type in a product code and they'll take you to a page that has every product code that's available, but you can't click on any of it. And what they want you to do is send them an email with the product code, and then they'll send you an estimate on how much it's going to be.
Incredible.
Which is a long way of saying I don't think it's in operation anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
It also doesn't help that the About Us page for it, all of the information is that stuff from 2001, and there is not a single bit of update since then.
Oh, dip it in amber, folks.
Yeah.
It's a relic of the past.
Well, and especially if you compare it to microtripdirect.com, where you can click on a product, put it in a shopping cart, and just buy it.
I love the idea of like ending up on this page thinking that you're at essentially an eBay for computer objects, but instead you're at some bodega warehouse in Chinatown. Where it's like the dude working it absolutely knows what like everything that's in his store, but you don't speak Cantonese, so good luck.
When that guy dies, his kids are going to have the worst time.
The worst, yes.
But you just send in your IRC number and we will contact you.
Yeah, well, like no, we have it, but just it's going to take a week.
Yeah.
Get it mailed certified.
Right. Just spend some time on Netscape. You'll be fine. And that's pretty much it. It's not like Mike hasn't been successful. He's been very successful. Like a number of the companies that he helped found are still going and still doing fine. They're doing the kind of well where you go to their websites and they don't exactly tell you what to do and you can't click to like buy anything. It's just like, yeah, we're around. We'll contact you. We don't need anything. We just want you to know we're real. We had to do this.
Right.
It's just that boring kind of accomplishment where it's like, yeah, you did a thing and I can't make jokes about this. So he's just a good business guy. On top of that, he's also worked at a food bank for 7 years. And this led him to being awarded the honorary title of Kentucky Colonel by Governor Andy Beshear.
Oh my gosh.
So it does sound cool, but it's also something that you can just fill out a form online and just kind of, it's the funds are used to help support the state of Kentucky.
Okay. You
still have to be a good person and do something, but
there's some vetting.
Right. They're not just going to let everyone be a Kentucky colonel. As first time in the Prohibition Party, Michael's currently serving as an at-large National Committee member, is a member of the Executive Committee, and was also a member with Zach on the Social Media Committee. But while Zach's running Twitter, Mike is running the Facebook page.
Well, naturally, given their generations.
I mean, it really makes a lot of sense. But where things get interesting is that for Mike's platform, it's the 2024 party platform draft. It's actually where I got the draft from. And this is what is leading me to believe that Michael Wood is the leading candidate, because he created the platform for the party that's being presented today.
Oh.
In the New York Prohibition Party's list of candidates, Mike is listed first and has the longest biography. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, I can't say if someone's a favorite, but those are things that lead me to believe, like, oh, you made the platform and you had the longest thing in here. You're probably the favorite going into this.
Yeah, yeah.
On top of this, Mike has also announced that he's running for the nomination for the Reform Party.
What was with
Yeah.
all this double dipping?
Well, I mean, the Reform Party for the past number of years has been endorsing other candidates instead of running their own people. Most notably, Rocky Del Fuente, who
Yeah.
we know and love. I hope you're doing fine, Rocky. Please write.
Patron saint of
Please,
Gadfly.
yeah, please show that you're alive, Rocky. But yeah, so the Reform Party did release a statement last month talking about who's running. And there's a new guy in charge named Nicholas Hensley. And the statement seemed to really imply that Rocky De La Fuente will not be a considered nominee this year. Nick is pulling away from previous party rulership, how people ran it. And so he did acknowledge a list of 5 people who have said they want the nomination, including Mike Wood. And Nick has said, and I'm paraphrasing, thanks, but we can do better. And announced that there were two former congressmen that they're going to try to get to run. And if they don't run, then they're going to try to get the party secretary to run. But it was a very rude thanks, but no for Mike Wood.
Oh.
And that's it. Those are the 3 guys running for president for them. But yeah, Una, you know what time it is.
Is it Fuck, Mary, Politely Asked to Leave?
Hell yeah. So let's do you want to include the vice president guy? Because I don't think we had enough information about John to really do anything about it.
Yeah, no, I'm totally game.
Okay.
Well, all right. I mean, I guess fuck Zach because he's a beautiful human specimen.
Oh, agreed. Yes, I think I assumed we were both going to say that.
And then I'd probably marry the vice president candidate who had. Am I thinking of the right one? Who had who was a post office worker for 33 years and had like a more progressive bent to bring?
No, he worked for the post office, but is a Trumper.
Oh, then no, he gets politely asked to leave.
Okay.
And then I'll stick with I'll marry the one who had a more progressive bent than the party itself.
Oh, the ex-boyfriend of Liv Morgan?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I would marry Michael Wood because that guy easily has a pension, probably from IBM or Siemens.
Oh, fair enough.
I would probably politely ask to leave. You made a really good point with John Pietrowski that the Trumpism and especially supporting J.R. Majewski is a bit of a bridge too far. He might have changed that opinion since then, but that's a tough thing even beforehand to support a guy who did January 6th. And yeah, and you're right. Scott Bair has enough progressive opinions that it's just like, we'll just keep you around. I am not going to watch wrestling with you, but
right.
we can discuss policy off and on. Yeah, so I'm very excited for the 2024 season to have kicked off. You know, the Prohibition Party really does have a weird part in my heart just because I have to have a lot of respect for someone who's kept a political party going for over a century and a half, even if they have been having some really tough times.
And even after getting what they wanted.
Right. That should have very likely been the end of everything they did. But it's really impressive, too, how they can go from, you know, a single issue party to a party of very weird nationalism to a party that's broke, falling apart, tearing itself apart, not rebranding successfully, to a party that's really trying to find its way in a variety of different ways that aren't, you know, they're a lot friendlier than I think you would expect from the Prohibition Party. And, you know, if anyone from the party's listening, I don't mean that to be a shade thing, but I'm sure you guys also get a lot of assumptions on what you're about. I held a ton of assumptions of what you guys were about before I started doing deeper research. But I think it's an exciting party to keep an eye on. It's as someone who does drink, probably won't be voting for you guys, but I could definitely see some issues that I would gladly fight for beside you.
Aw, yeah.
So yeah, Una, do you have any final thoughts?
Oh man, I mean, I just want I hope they grow more progressive. Maybe more youths get hip to their existence.
There really is, I think, a very viable lane, especially, you know, if Zach Kuznier is very clearly the future of the party. He's probably one of the youngest members they've had in a very long time. And if Michael Wood wins, it's clearly going to be Zach's nomination to get in the future. And he could very well lead the party into a new youth focus, and especially if they do have a more progressive bent. I mean, it's a lane no one's taking right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, guys, I hope you have a really good convention today and tomorrow. By the time the episode comes out, I hope it went well.
You're not going to be hungover tomorrow, so
Oh my God.
that's a win.
Oh my God. One of my favorite tweets they did is someone posted a picture of a really good sandwich and they were like, this is the best hangover cure. And they were like, that's a great looking sandwich, but an even better hangover cure, not having one to begin with. It was like, that's a little shady, but I'm so happy I'm seeing the sandwich right now.
Right. Just it's like I'm already hungover. Just let me enjoy my sandwich.
Right. But yeah, so I'm very excited to watch the Prohibition Party and what they evolve into after this. I will say, do not go after caffeine. If you guys do, I will take all of this back.
That is so true. Don't touch my drug.
On that note, so 2 weeks from now, I'm going to be trying very hard to test the multiple episode thing to see how it goes on a every 2 weeks sort of schedule. I think it can go well, but I'm going to hold off on saying what it is, but it is going to be a multiple episode sort of thing. We are going to be doing another one of these party convention things. The next one for this is probably going to be late June, early July. The American Solidarity Party is going to be holding their presidential national convention in Plano, Texas at 34 events. The American Solidarity Party, I guess, could best be described as their main focus is being pro-life with a very Catholic sort of theme to everything. Ooh. But their pro-life also goes to very much like the Prohibition Party, no capital punishment, no euthanasia, but goes even further with the pro-life idea of if you're having a baby, then we are going to support SNAP, WIC, TANF.
Oh.
Universal pre-K.
What a concept.
Yeah. And so I'm excited to see who they end up nominating. And so we'll be getting back to that then. But it's a very long way of saying see you next time on Gadfly. Where in the hell's my whiskey? Hey, y'all. As promised, we do have an update to the Prohibition Party and how things went during their convention. Kind of as predicted, Mike Wood has come out as the nominee for president for the Prohibition Party, with John Piotrowski facing no challengers to vice president, so that will be the Prohibition Party ticket for 2024. That being said, Zach Kuzner did not leave empty-handed. He actually might have, I would say, came out with probably some of the best results of this. While not running for president, he is more than young enough to be able to run in the future quite often if he so wishes. But he was selected to be the new chairman as well as treasurer of the Prohibition Party. And as chairman, he's going to have a load of opportunity to be able to grow this party using his social media knowledge and his outreach. And so all things considered, it was a really good result for Zach. Not only that, but the party has also added on to the party platform Zach's plank regarding all of his interest in agriculture, being rehabilitative farming and focusing more on organic farming and things such as that. So Zach has really positioned himself to be quite the force of the Prohibition Party going forward after this election. Time will tell if Mike Wood can end up getting the Reform Party's nomination for president. The odds of that are pretty much below 1% at this point, unless things completely fall apart for the Reform Party. But yeah, that is the addendum. Mike Wood and John Piotrowski will be your president and vice presidential nominees for the Prohibition Party in 2024. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?